good evening, depending on where you are joining from. I hope everyone is doing well during these difficult times. Thank you all for joining this webinar, which is organized by Veracities and enabled by Ingram Micro. I would like to introduce the speakers for today's session, Mr. Roscoe Lobo and Jackie Patel. Please note that you will be on mute during this session. We will be open for all the Q&A questions at the end of the session. You all can paste your questions in the Q&A tab on your right-hand bottom corner, and which will be answered at the end. Please keep your eye on the poll section too during the session. I hand it over further to Roscoe.
Thank you, Sneha. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, depending on where you are. I am very pleased to announce that we have participants from 11 different nations today. So we have people from Oman, Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, Nigeria, Mauritius, Canada, Singapore, France, the United States, and last but not least, India. Thank you very much for joining. We appreciate your participation. It's a very difficult time that we are facing. There are unprecedented circumstances due to this pandemic, and it makes it a very challenging times for us as individuals, but it is an existential crisis for organizations across the globe because it puts a huge strain on physical and material resources. So there is a need for solutions, and this is what we want to give back to society, a suite of solutions that is able to alleviate these challenges that we face and able to give us optimal utilization of resources, time, and other things. So before we get into that, there's a small video that I'd like to take you guys through.
As a business decision maker, you need to optimize trade-offs for important decisions. But it's not easy. Even decisions that appear simple can require complex analysis. Let's say you own a fleet of trucks. You want to find the most efficient route for each truck as it makes deliveries to multiple locations. Even with as few as 15 locations, you'd have to select from among more than 1 trillion possible routes. Decision makers face complex problems like these every day. Factory managers have to find the best sequence for orders in a production line. Airlines need to optimize schedules for aircraft and crew. Retailers have to optimize their distribution networks. These decisions are too complex for simple spreadsheets or basic analytics applications. You need sophisticated tools, tools that move beyond descriptive and even predictive analytics. To find the course that will yield the best outcome, you need prescriptive analytics. IBM Decision Optimization provides prescriptive analytics capabilities that can take your decision-making to the next level. Run complex models, analyze scenarios, and factor in business rules and constraints so you can find the best course of action among numerous possibilities. Decision optimization removes key obstacles to prescriptive analytics. Data scientists can speed development of optimization models using APIs and high-level scripting. Powerful visualization features help data scientists with the development process and enable them to communicate the benefits of optimization to business teams. Decision optimization also makes it simpler for more people to use prescriptive analytics. For example, line of business users can experiment with multiple what-if scenarios and rapidly adjust their plans for unexpected events. Decision optimization complements other IBM data science solutions, such as IBM Machine Learning, offering your team tools to address complex challenges. The combination of decision optimization and machine learning allows for unique solutions and approaches. Decision optimization can help you make better decisions so you can improve profitability and retain your competitive advantage. Ready to learn how you can capitalize on the power of prescriptive analytics with decision optimization? Visit our website.
Now, before we get into what is prescriptive analytics and what is decision optimization, let's try and understand this entire ecosystem. IBM does this with the analogy of the AI ladder. What does it mean? Every step on this AI ladder represents a prerequisite to achieving the pinnacle of AI, with the first one being data. It is important to make your available data simple and accessible, get it into trusted and governed repositories. And as the general manager for Watson AI, Rob Thomas, so succinctly puts it, there is no AI without IA. That is to say that there is no AI without the right information architecture. The next step is that of analytics. This is where you get deep insights from your data. You are able to manipulate it using the different spheres of analytics. Once you have this in place, you can implement machine learning. You can have algorithms that learn from the information. You can have certain cognitive processes that ultimately help you achieve the pinnacle of the AI ladder. And that is where you literally democratize the use of data within your organization, and you're able to achieve true AI. Let's understand this better with the help of the analytics cycle. Every business by default takes step 1, which is planning, budgeting, reporting. You have a sense of how the business is going to perform over the next 6 to 12 months, and you plan for that, you budget for that. The next step is the actuals come in, you report, monitor, and analyze the performance. You conduct variance analysis, and you try and see at a high level where are the areas your business is bleeding or performing exceedingly well. Once that is done, you try and do a deeper dive. If at a higher level, you know that a particular geography is not performing well, what are the product lines? What are the business units? Or what are the customers against which I'm seeing a negative trend? Now that I know what is happening and why did it happen to an extent, the next logical step is what will happen. We try to conduct certain predictions, certain forecasts. You develop, deploy, and manage certain modules that help you perform this analysis. And lastly, you optimize those decisions. Once you know where the future is, you want to know what are the logical set of steps you can take to get there. And now, using this very similar example of the analytics cycle, let's understand what IBM has to offer in this sphere. The planning, budgeting, and reporting piece is covered by IBM Planning Analytics. In the next sphere, IBM has an offering for the descriptive scenario as well, and that is called as IBM Cognos Analytics. The diagnostic aspect as well is covered by an offering called as IBM Cognos Analytics. The predictive sphere is covered by IBM Watson Studio, Watson Machine Learning, SPSS Modeler, and SPSS Statistics. And lastly, you have decision optimization that helps us conduct prescriptive analytics. So we are slowly, smoothly, gradually understanding what these concepts mean. Let's understand this better using an example of a fictitious company that has 3 different types of needs. Now, if we look at the X and Y axis intersections for descriptive, the business need is to understand market performance. How did a particular product line perform last year? What is it performing like this year? The solution for that is I have an MIS. I have certain management reports. I have certain dashboards that give me a product trend over a historical time frame. But now, as you can see at the bottom of this screen, you have value from low to high, and the value increases exponentially as we move from left to right. That is not to say that there is no value in the descriptive scenario. However, if your business solutions are able to offer you answers only to what happened yesterday, and even better, what happened today, you have already failed because you do not know what the future holds for you tomorrow. As a next step, we have predictive, where you would like to understand product demand. What is the demand of different products in different geographies for a particular time frame in the future? The solution over here from an analytics standpoint is you have a demand forecast. You have certain predictive forecasting engines that are able to churn historical information, identify trends and patterns using different algorithms, and then give you a forecast. Lastly, with the high value initiative of prescriptive, you would like to plan not only for the product demand at different geographies, you would also like to manage your inventory in those areas. You would like to understand which are the depots which need to be restocked in order to ensure supply in those particular regions. And this is where prescriptive analytics helps you develop a production plan that helps you leverage best set of capabilities and best set of operational engines to understand what needs to be produced, where it needs to be produced, and in what quantity. Now that we know this, let's understand this with the help of a different example. We know that prescriptive analytics is required, but why do we need decision optimization? Let's understand this with the example of a factory. There is one simple standalone manufacturing unit, which has only one delivery van. Now let's understand how many possible route combinations exist in three different scenarios. In scenario 1, we have just one delivery location. But naturally, not a difficult question to answer, but there is only one possible combination with which I can route this particular van from my factory to the delivery location. Second example. What happens when this number increases from 1 to 5? One factory, one delivery van, 5 different locations. This number goes up exponentially to 120 combinations. Now, just as an initiative to engage further with our audience, I would like to feel your pulse here. Let's take the example of 10 locations. And this is where we are going to activate a small poll for you guys, just to understand better the way you're thinking right now. We have a set of 4 options, and we'd like to understand from you, what do you think would be the possible number of route combinations in this particular scenario? Let's take a look at what most of you have to say. So 50% think it's 240 combinations, around 20% of you think it's 480. The remaining 20%, okay, there's a revision in the statistics, but broadly we have 2 sets of people leaning between 14,400, 960. Okay, we have answers all across the board over here, but I'm really happy to have such active participation. So we have 240 being the most popular answer. And I'm happy to let you guys know that each one of you is wrong. It's 3.6 million. Let's take a moment and digest this fact. Nearly moving from 5 to 10 possible delivery locations, the number of possible route combinations to optimize is 3.6 million. And needless to say, anybody, any human being who is wanting to conduct this exercise in spreadsheets should understand that this is a non-starter from the very get-go. And that is why we need decision optimization. Now, what exactly does IBM do differently? Most solutions want you to code how to solve the problem. You have a particular screen where you have to input your instructions. You have to not only input your constraints, you also have to tell the solution how the problem is to be solved. Now, either you need a data scientist, an operational researcher, or someone who's really, really good with coding. And the challenges that come up over here are, there's complicated coding involved, so not everyone can do it. There is a restricted set of problems that can be solved in this particular manner. And lastly, because this is only an optimization engine that is offered by traditional vendors, you need third-party add-ons to visualize, to report, or to make sense of this in a manner which can be shared with line of business users. Whereas IBM takes a contrary stand. IBM tells you to merely define the problem. All you have to do is build an optimization model where you input 3 variables: your decisions, your goals, and constraints. That's how simple it is. And we'll understand this better going forward. Before we do that, we already know that IBM expects you to do things differently. But what is the skill set that is required when you're going to deploy an IBM solution? And this is where I would like to activate another poll to understand from our audience, what do you think are the key skills that are necessary to understand or to deploy models pertaining to decision optimization. So we have four options. We have SQL, we have R, Java, and Python. "100% of the audience as of now thinks that Python skills are extremely essential. A few of you also think SQL. Most people leaning in towards Python. Perfect. So that settles it. Python is absolutely essential, right? Absolutely wrong. IBM proposes something called as optimization programming language, which although looks very similar to the coding that we saw in the previous screen, that is something that is offered by traditional vendors, IBM scripting is very generic and is very easy to read. The first part is data initialization. The second, I define my variables, which are warehouses and the stores I need to supply to. Third, I mention what are the constraints. So I'm trying to minimize the cost of opening new warehouses, and I'm also trying to minimize the supply cost to each of the stores. These are subject to certain conditions that I also mention additionally. And lastly, there is some post-processing, which gives me my results. So none of the languages that were given as part of the options to the previous question are the answer to this question. Optimization programming language is unlike any other. It is very simple, very easy to understand. And as we speak, most of you have even been able to make sense of what we are seeing on screen right now. In addition to that, IBM gives the flexibility to non-programmers and non-coders to take the advantage of a modeling assistant. Here, using a guided UI click-based process, business decision makers can very easily specify what is the kind of model they're trying to build, what is the kind of model they're trying to deploy, and very easily, without knowing coding or without having programmatic knowledge, can leverage the resources that IBM has to build a decision optimization solution. And IBM doesn't just stop there. Reinforcing its commitment to open source, IBM also makes available certain APIs. Which are those? Let's have a look. Developers preferring Python, and for most of the people in our audience, Python APIs can also access the decision optimization engine provided by IBM. You can alternatively do it using SPSS Modeler, C++, Java, and lastly, IBM Planning Analytics. Safe to say that IBM decision optimization is beautiful because it has these two engines, the constraint programming engine and the CPLEX engine. So what happens is, let's follow this flow from left to right. These two engines are able to solve three kinds of problems. We have linear problems, mixed integer problems, and constraint problems. These are solved over a period of time to give me the most optimal solution. And in addition to that, there's a host of other benefits. IBM Decision Optimization has something called as parallelization. So I can add additional resources, additional RAM, additional processing power, additional compute, and I can also do this in a distributed architecture to ensure that I achieve the optimal solution in the lowest possible amount of time. Next, there is also something called as infeasibility analysis, where IBM Decision Optimization is intelligent enough to let me know if I have two constraints that are contradictory. Next, I have something called a solution pooling. So I not only get one solution, I get multiple solutions to the same problem. Lastly, there is also something called as parameterization. So here, you can not only go with the default solutions that are available, the default algorithms that are available, but you can also fine-tune, tweak it, something that would make an operational researcher or a data scientist really happy to build a solution of your own. Safe to say, optimization is the secret sauce of business decision making. But how well kept or how well known is the secret? In a study conducted by The Economist, 70% of senior executives in the United States, 448 to be precise, said that analytics is very or extremely important. Now, given that so many people know how important really is, How many people are able to achieve success? Barely 2%. And that is a real shame. Let's look at how IBM performs in this comparison. A large set of customers, roughly 1,300 plus across the globe, are using these solutions, and some of them are listed for you here on your screen. UPS was able to revise its air network design, achieve $40 million in savings every year, plus 10% fewer aircrafts required to conduct package delivery. You also have Samsung Electronics, who was able to reduce 50% in production life cycles due to semiconductor manufacturing process optimization. Lastly, you also have Continental Airlines, which was able to save $40 million every year due to crew rescheduling. Let's take certain deeper examples, one such being of Chu de Jon. This is a hospital network based in France, having roughly 1,770 beds. The challenge faced due to having a distributed hospital architecture is that it was difficult to dispatch patients from one location to the other. There were roughly 750 calls every day, and they were expecting a 20% spike in the number of requests. The requirement was to find a more efficient manner to coordinate, manage, and dispatch resources to ensure that there are relevant stretch bearers and not too much of wait time for the patients. As an outcome of leveraging IBM Decision Optimization, they were able to receive 25% improvement in punctuality. The patients had to wait for lower periods of time, and the distance walked by the stretch bearers every day was reduced by 33%. And not just that, this was a solution that was deployed a few years ago. Even in the midst of this crisis, the functioning of Chu de Jon has not been impacted. UPS is the largest package services provider or package delivery provider in the world. They have roughly 1 million domestic next day air packages. They have a hub and spoke model that results in 17,000 origin destination flows. They have 160 aircrafts of 9 different types. And needless to say, the challenge was to find an efficient and low cost aircraft network. What they were able to achieve with IBM Decision Optimization is savings of $189 million over 10 years, reduced planning time, and a reduced aircraft fleet required to carry out those next day delivery. UPS as well, in the midst of a disrupted economy, is not facing a challenge in ensuring same expected delivery timeframes for customers. They've only suspended a money back guarantee program, which is a fairly understandable aspect. Now, how exactly do we do this? How exactly do all these solutions come together? There are a different set of sectors to which these solutions are applicable. You can take it for manufacturing, you can take it for energy, BFSI, industrial, even the public sector. So there is no specific sector, although we started out with a logistics example, that doesn't stand to benefit from these solutions. We can carry out sales and operations planning optimization, supply chain optimization, plan costing optimization, revenue forecasting, cash management, trade settlement optimization. There's a host of use cases, close to 25. Now, how do we do this? In the example today, we are going to be combining planning analytics from the planning sphere and decision optimization from the prescriptive sphere. And as my friend Sunil Bhatt puts it, the proof is in the pudding. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Jackie Patel to take you through the demonstration that really drives home the value. Over to you, Jackie.
Thank you very much, Roscoe, for insightful details about the IBM solutions. And guys, I'm not going to discuss more and straight away go to the demonstration that we have worked on. So the exact example which Roscoe has taken in terms of scheduling a delivery of a van, and we wanted to do the scheduling on the different locations of the customer. So we have vans from warehouse. So we have around 5 vans from warehouse, and we wanted to do the optimized scheduling of our resources, considering the demand that customer is having and the available time for those customer in terms of receipt of this materials. So here you are able to see my screen, okay, which has the model objectives. So we wanted to have three objectives to work on, that I should minimize the number of vehicles, I should have minimum transportation cost, and I should do the transportation as quick as possible. Then I have certain model inputs and constraints like my vehicle capacity, availability of the vehicle, and customer requirements and availability. So let's see what all inputs we have done with the customer demand. So I have customer wise, product wise demands, which are for next day requirements. And we wanted to have this demands to be supplied by my available vehicles. So let's say I have uh, all the products, product 1, product 2, product 3, product 5. So all different type of products which has different volume of packaging volume, I would say, and then a weight to have that boxes or to put that boxes in properly with the given vehicles. And there are certain time parameters with each customer that they wanted to receive a material on a given particular time. So we have given a minimum time, or from this time to this time they will receive the material. So customer wise I have the inputs. So currently we have defined all the inputs just to run through the scenario to you guys. Then there is a point to point distance of input. So I have point to point distance from each customer to another customer, then warehouse to all the customers, and then from customer to the my last point of again to the warehouse. So this is a matrix of distance, and that's something which is updated by map APIs. And this can be done on the fly using the Google APIs or other map APIs. You can use any of the map API and update this information on the fly at the time of doing the scheduling. Then I have the mapping of the overall transportation cost for the vehicle, so that let's say I have 5 vehicles in place, and their rates, time of availability, and minimum waiting cost, fixed cost. So we are trying to make as its running cost. So let's say the vehicle 1 has so and so capacity available for so and so time, and we can run that with a minimum per minute cost of 12 and waiting cost of 2 per minute, and then fixed cost. So if we hire that vehicle for a day, then it is going to cost me something as a total cost. So this is what the vehicle capacity and the cost available. So if I say the scenario and relate to the same example which Roscoe has taken, I would get the around 5 factorial for vehicles. 5 vehicles I am having, 20 customer, 20 factorial combination, and then overall time constraint considering I have 133 time constraints involved in this particular example. And then considering a manual approach, we came with a particular schedule which is in front of you, that what kind of vehicle 1 will do from which warehouse to which customers. So vehicle 1 will start from warehouse and load the items which are need to be supplied for these 4 customers, and back to warehouse at around 4 p.m. in the evening. So this is what the schedule it is having. So he will have this many of drop time, this many quantities he will drop, and then come back to a warehouse again. So similarly, we have vehicle 1, 3, 4, 2, and 5. So every vehicle is engaged and doing the deliveries. Let me run the scenario which says that with the minimum cost. So this was manually done by individuals, and looking at the his own skills and his own experience. And currently I switched on the minimum cost using the optimization engine on the backend. So design optimization is working to get this thing done with the minimum cost. So we have another scenario with minimum time and another scenario with time and cost all together. So we'll see what all results are. So within fraction of seconds, around it calculates most of the combination possible and gives the result. So here it is for you. Like it says that you need not to use all 5 vehicles. You can complete the delivery with only 4 vehicles in place, vehicle 1, 2, 3, and 5. And then total time of delivery is 37 hours. So it was 60 earlier. So we could achieve 60% of the overall reduction. With reduction in the cost also, we got the things done within 21,163. So this is what within few seconds, 15 to 20 seconds, it has gave the scenario of the minimum cost time delivery. So let's say there is a business decision which needs to be taken, that I need to have a delivery of the materials as soon as possible, as quick as possible. So with the minimum time, I'm running the another scenario which shows that if I want to utilize the capacity, okay, and I want to quickly deliver the things to my customers, then what would be the schedule? So I'm just running the another scenario with a click of a button with a minimum time. So it will give me the scenario uh, within another 15-20 seconds to have with minimum time. So yeah, it is updated for us. So it says that you now use all 5 vehicles, and you can see that all the timings have gone on the upside. So all the timings are starting from like from the beginning itself, from the vehicle is available. So you see all the vehicles are now utilized. The cost is also gone up because I'm utilizing all the resources as quick as possible. So it says that you need to bear with the cost. And then the third one is minimize based on the time and cost. So it will also minimize the time, and it will also minimize the cost and give some flexible possible solution within these two uh, ranges, that minimum cost and minimum time, how it is possible. So on backend, we have programmed it accordingly to run based on 3 objectives. So one is cost minimum, time minimum, and then time and cost both as a minimum. So here also it says that you can minimize the time instead of you know utilizing within 60 hours. You can actually goes down it to 53. It has increased, but overall the cost is also minimized in terms of the overall delivery. So here with this example, you can also compare all the 3 examples. This is a flavor of planning analytics tool. So this is something which we have built as a in the Ciplex is being on a backend side, and planning analytics is on the front. So we can see how these 3 schedules are being run on the same time. So like minimum cost schedule, what was the cost? 21,000 was the cost with you, like overall utilization of 34 hours. And what was the schedule of each vehicle for each with respect to customers? But it was prolonged to a long, so it was taking afternoon and evening time. So and then with the minimum time concept, objective, what is the cost and what is the overall utilization? We can see that my vehicles are utilized, but overall cost is also gone high. Whereas in the third option, we have achieved the time reduction as well as we have achieved the overall cost reduction as well. So we can see that minimum time is actually delivering all the materials early. So from between you can see most of the deliveries are happening from 4 hours to afternoon till the 4 p.m. or say. Okay, and the other example was having delivery within the around 8 in the evening, 8 in the night, you can say. So you can see that all the rest of the customers are having deliveries late in the afternoon and all. So this way you can compare all your schedules. I can run the third one also for you to see. You can compare all the schedules for your reference. So any of the one you can choose based on your own available time, resources, and how you want to utilize the overall capacity that you are having. let's say you want to work with some of the what ifs and you get a last minute call from respective customer that I don't want to have a delivery at 4 a.m. in the morning. Let's say customer one says, I want to have a delivery from between 8 to 5:30. I don't want to delay it further. And then want to run this scenario and see what is the optimized output. You can run all the scenarios all the time and see what all things are. So this way, you can also work with your customers, having a discussion at the late time as well. And then before releasing the schedule, you can have that thing in place within fraction of seconds. So it will take around, it will run all the scenario and take around 20 to 30 seconds per scenario and gives the output. You can download your schedules in a Excel or PDF form by clicking a button. Let's say if I want to have this schedule to be downloaded in a PDF, I can download the schedule in a PDF form. So this is a Cognos Analytics one, the one Roscoe has mentioned. So using the reporting platform of IBM, you can have a schedule downloaded in your PDF. It will take a while because we are updating the numbers also at the same time. The schedule is getting updated. But these are the different ways you can tweak your inputs and then see the overall update on your schedules as well. So here it says that cost has reduced and it has updated the minimum cost scenario as of now. Then minimum time scenario also has got reduced. So same way, all the things can be done on the fly and you can get your data on the right in the hand. You can click on the download Excel also. So the things are available to download in the Excel as well. You can see that schedule is downloaded in Excel. Or just to view. This can be shared across to your organization. Multiple users can use this detail and things can be shared across. So this is what I wanted to show as a demonstration. This was done with a like 20 to 30 seconds per scenario, and you can run through the entire optimization process. And the one which we discussed that where all this solution can be deployed. So any industry agnostic the solutions are. So we have demand forecasting, then we have sales and operational planning. So all the industry can be benefit with this kind of solutions. All the healthcare for nurse scheduling and network inventory optimizations and those stuff. Over to you, Roscoe.
Thanks, Jackie. That was a wonderful demonstration. So just to add to Jackie's beautiful presentation, the solutions are industry agnostic. The beauty of IBM's data science and business analytics offerings are that they are not point platform solutions. IBM offers these solutions as part of a broad set of capabilities. And all these platforms are perfectly integrable with one another. So there is absolutely no challenge with building a solution that pulls in capabilities from multiple platforms. With that, I think that brings us to the end of the presentation and a demo, and we will be opening up for Q&A in a few moments. Neha, over to you.
Thank you, Roscoe and Jackie. I may now request you all to please spare a few minutes in letting us know if we can help you all in your future endeavors. And now we are open to questions. So if you all have any questions relating the demo or whatever Roscoe has explained to you all, please put it in the tab just on your right-hand corner named Q&A. You can also paste your questions in the chat box if you want. Also, I've started a poll where you all can let us know if we can help you in your future endeavors. Yes, Roscoe, over to you. If there are any questions, let me just.
Sure. Anybody with any questions, or Sneha, you could check a few FAQs which should make things clear for people.
Oh, yes, sure. So we already have compliments from Mr. Viven. Thank you. And he says it was a great presentation. So thank you, sir. Also, I have certain generic questions right now. So can this solution be used for aviation industry, Roscoe?
Perfect. So, Jackie, I'll take this question. Yes, this solution can absolutely be implemented in the aviation industry. You have multiple use cases, such as cruise scheduling, you have network or route optimization, and you also have tail assignment, which is assigning aircrafts to particular routes for multiple journeys.
Okay. And how much time does this solution usually take to get implemented? Like implement, how much time does one take to implement this solution?
Jackie, would you like to take up this question?
Yeah, Roscoe, correct. So a time is for a only solution to build is like 4 to 8 weeks, and then we have to have multiple integration stuff with the source system, then building a customized output in terms of the requirement. Like we have seen that we wanted to have schedule in a PDF or Excel format using other products, and then the input screens, the scenario building, the one which I have shown using the planning analytics, because this solution independently can be programmed, but in a way to have uh, inputs and scenario building and interactions with the multiple users, that needs to be done with planning analytics or the reporting outputs in terms of Cognos analytics and all. But everything can be
Absolutely.
done with the time bound and things.
Right. Thanks, Jackie. Just
Okay.
to add a particular point, a lot of our solutions to a very large extent are ready to deploy. However, they are subject to customization based on the customer's requirements, certain specifications depending on the industry the customer operates in, and also certain geographical and fine-tuning challenges.
Okay, thank you, Roscoe and Jackie. Also, very generic question. I would like you addressing the audience. How expensive are the licenses for this solution usually? Are they on the greater side or are they on the medium scale?
Sure, Sneha, I'll take that up. So, unlike most other vendors who prefer to lock you into long-term commitments, IBM has multiple ways of using and deploying these solutions. So, you not only have server-based licenses, you also have user-based licenses, you have cluster-based licenses. So, IBM provides flexibility not only in terms of offering functionalities, in terms of the way it interfaces with open source technologies, but also in the way it licenses these technologies. So, certain offerings that we have presented today could start from a SaaS standpoint from as low as 20,000 per month, plus certain additional expenses for services, etc., depending on the size of the engagement, depending on the number of users involved, depending on the server infrastructure at the client premises. So it's very subjective, but we have offerings starting from as low as the prices I've mentioned.
So that's really great. I guess that's going to help a lot of people. Also, can we deploy these solutions remotely?
Sure. So I will take this one up, Jackie, or would you prefer to take this question?
Fine, you can take it.
Sure. So we have a fairly large implementation team. A good number of our resources are also present on this call today, and thank you to each one of you in the ways you've contributed in enabling us to take these solutions to our customers. So we have presence in India, we have presence in the Middle East, as well as in Africa, specifically Mauritius. And it is not a challenge for us to deploy these solutions using an on-site offshore mix, depending on specific client considerations.
Okay, so it's you totally up to the clients how they want to do it. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's great. Also, one last one from my side. As we know that business intelligence and artificial intelligence is the future, and everybody is marching towards it. Are these products that you mentioned today of IBM, are they on IBM's future roadmap?
Sure.
Yeah,
So I'll take this. Okay,
you
sure,
take
Jackie,
this.
please.
Yeah, okay. So, yes, and predominantly every product which we have discussed here, like planning analytics, Cognos analytics, decision optimization, and machine learning or forecasting. So every product is there in the IBM's roadmap and the acquisitions which IBM has done with Red Hat, considering these products to scale with the larger extent. So everything which IBM is driving on a data and AI journey, so everything is being done towards getting the solutions to every customer. So to bring every customer on the use every customer to use these technologies, and many innovations are happening to ease the platforms, because they are data and AI platforms are much more robust in terms of getting every odd industry to be catered with the performance, with the challenges that each development environment is having. So they are catering each and every challenges with the simple solutions, keeping all solution aligned to the overall the changing scenario, and with the latest open source offerings. So that's what IBM is doing a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, Jackie. We have one from the audience, which is asking for the IBM products which are mentioned today, compared to other products in the market like SAS, SAP, etc. How do you compare these products that you have explained about? I suppose you explained about iLog, Simplex. So we can frame the question as how do you compare iLog with SAS, SAP, etc. So someone would want to know that.
Yeah, thanks, Neha. So I will take up that question. Uh, there are a few competitors in the market, but really speaking, they are miles behind. So we have multiple operators such as Gurobi, SAS, SAP as well, but they come with their own set of challenges. So there's a lot of most of these operate as independent decision optimization engines. So there's not as much as a modeling assistant or a visualization assistant where you can make sense of your findings at the point of the solution. So you need a lot of third-party tools. You need a lot of coding knowledge. SAS particularly uses a proprietary language, so it ties you down. There is very limited flexibility to integrate with third-party offerings, or rather open source technologies. SAP as well has a lot of pre-packaged solutions. So certain solutions, for example, pertaining to the aviation industry or the manufacturing industry. So a lot of the solutions you deploy today are subject to the future product roadmap that SAP has in mind for these products that it offers. Whereas IBM takes a contrary stance. These solutions are a blank slate. You can build solutions, like Jackie said, that are industry agnostic, and you can deploy them on multiple platforms. You can access them using external APIs. You can use the optimization programming language. And you can also use the modeling assistant. So it does not matter if you come from a programmatic background. Even if you come from LOB, or you are a line of business leader, it's really easy to utilize the solutions that IBM has.
Yes, Roscoe, and
Okay.
add on to it, it is available on the cloud, hybrid cloud, and on-premise. So every solutions which we have talked about here is available on the cloud. So with the SaaS offerings, is available as on-premise environment, so you can work behind your firewall, and this can be worked with the hybrid approach as well. So every product, I would say, environment is capable enough to handle.
Thank you again. We have one more. Is the solution likely to be integrated with R in the future? Hello.
Yep. So Jackie, would you want to
So
take that?
yeah, I'm taking this. So integration with R is it can be done with the via approach, and you can take the R output as the JSON, or you can do that along with the JSON API or something. So that can be done with this product.
Okay, we have one more question from the audience. is this solution readily available to be delivered in MEA region?
Sure, Sneha.
Yeah.
So I'll,
Correct.
sure,
Yeah,
Jackie,
Roscoe,
please.
go ahead. Go ahead, Roscoe. Go ahead.
Okay. So, like I mentioned previously, we have a worldwide presence. We have offices in India, in the Middle East, as well as in Africa. And that apart, our resources are extremely mobile. We have a highly skilled resource pool that is extremely mobile, and all over the globe, these solutions are perfectly deployable by us.
Okay. Thank you, Roscoe and Jackie. I guess there are no more questions from the audience. Do you want to share some more information with them?
I think that's about it. Yep. So, in closing, thank you
Yeah,
very much,
anyone?
guys, for a wonderful
Okay.
audience.
Yes, Jackie, you wanted to say something?
I was just wanted to say that if anyone has a question from the demonstration that we have done, they can also share their points there as well.
Oh, yeah. So thank you all for joining. You have been a wonderful audience. If you all have any queries, we can actually take it on one-on-one. You all can contact us at sales@veracities.com. And any questions relating the presentation or demonstration we gave you today, we are more than happy to answer you all. And thank you so much.
Right, thanks. Bye bye.
Thank you, Roscoe. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.